At the moment, there are 493 different species of Pokemon, and soon to be over 600. I don't know exactly what number it is because I haven't checked it out, but man, that is a lot of Pokemon. Now, through that over 600, there are some great Pokemon. There are Pokemon that can win you the game. There are Pokemon that can take out entire teams. There are Pokemon that are, you know, kind of cool and you use them throughout the game, but they're not that great. There are Pokemon that are interesting. There are Pokemon that look amazing. And then there are the Pokemon that pretty much have no redeeming values. The one that you look at and you're like, do I really have to catch that? The ones that are just a waste of a Pokeball, a waste of even the most basic and necessary of items. Yeah, there are some definitely worthless Pokemon. Now, I have scoured through all 493 of the species in the current generation, and I picked out the 10 most worthless Pokemon in the entire game. In my opinion, of course. But, frankly, your opinion is wrong anyway, so we'll just listen to me. Now, I fudged a little bit on some of these, and you'll see what I'm talking about, but here are the 10 most worthless Pokemon in the game. Number 10 is Luvdisc. Now, for those of you that don't know what Luvdisc is, it's from the 3rd generation. It is basically a fish shaped like a heart. Possibly one of the dumbest Pokemon art in the entire game. Pokemon designs in the entire game. It doesn't evolve. Its statistics are really nothing to write home about. And it just looks stupid. Now, the reason it's number 10 on this list and not higher is, personally, I find it useful because I just harvest the things for heart scales, which you can use to have other Pokemon learn moves. So it's kind of useful, and that's why it gets the lowest spot on this list. Number 9, from the 2nd generation, Wobbuffet. Now, Wobbuffet's good for comedy. It's a funny companion to have with Team Rocket, but using it in the game is kind of like, well, it's kind of like the Pokemon version of a nuclear missile. It's really, really strong. In fact, so strong you can't actually use it in competitive play because it's kind of unfair. I think it's actually Uber as a competitive play, which I don't really play anyway. So, what's the point in leveling up this Pokemon if I can't use it like that? And frankly, it's of a style of fighting I don't really like. I don't really like using counter or mirror coat or all that crap, so Wobbuffet, number 9. Number 8, for the 1st generation, Jigglypuff. That's right, Jigglypuff. I know this is a little controversial for you Jigglypuff fans out there from its actions in the cartoon series, but honestly, it's worthless. It's basically a Clefairy that sucks a little bit more. So, I mean, they're both found in the same area historically. They're both normal Pokemon. They both have to use a Moonstone to evolve. They both feature the same attacks like Sing and stuff like that. So why the hell would I want it? Something better is 2 steps away. Jigglypuff, number 8. Number 7, Combees. I'm not talking about all Combees. Now, these guys were introduced in the 4th generation. They're basically a bug flying type that resembles a bee. And while I appreciate the biological consistency that the Pokemon series has with this, male Combees are completely worthless. Female Combees evolve into a Vespiquen, which is an interesting Pokemon. I have one. It's kind of cool. Male Combees don't do anything. They don't evolve. They learn like 3 moves. They have horrible stats, so why would I want one? I just wouldn't. They suck. Number 6, from the 2nd generation, Delibird. Delibird is like normal ice or flying ice. I don't even know. I don't even care because it sucks. It learns 1 move, like Present or something, which can do a bunch of random crap. And not even good crap. It's not like a Metronome where at least, you know, it could do something amazing. It's Present. It's just, its stats are bad. It doesn't evolve. It learns 1 move. Why the hell would I want it? Number 6, Delibird. Number 5, Pachirisu. This one is from the 4th generation and is the latest, and I'm sure there'll be a 5th one, in a long line of Pikachu knockoffs. Now Pikachu, I'm fine with Pikachu. It evolves into Raichu, does something, you know, it becomes a pretty good Pokemon. Pachirisu doesn't evolve. Its stats are alright, but not really good enough to use on anything. It can't really attack well, doesn't evolve, it's just... How many electric rodents do we need, really? How many? Pachirisu. Number 4 is Unown. I hate Unown. Even as a kid, I hated Unown. I mean, I got to this cool place in the games, in Silver and Gold, the Ruins of Alph, and that's all there was. I'm like, great. Sure, it's interesting that there's multiple different types, but they all learn one attack. They learned Hidden Power, which you have to figure out what type the attack ends up being, which is interesting, but I don't want to collect 24 or 26 or however the hell many types of Unown there are. I don't want to collect that many of anything. I wouldn't want to collect 24 different types of Salamence, much less this freaking Pokemon that doesn't evolve, has one attack, and just plain sucks. I mean, you can only have 6 Pokemon at one time, but they can only have 4 moves at one time. So why the hell would I want to put on my team a Pokemon that learns one move that isn't that great? You tell me. And don't think I didn't notice that spin to crap either. That was the same bullshit. At least that learned some moves. Number 3, Plusle and Minun. Again, another in the long line of Pikachu knockoffs. This time in Generation 3. These don't evolve. They're just good enough to be annoying to fight early on in the game, but if you pick one up, it's really not that useful. There's so many more better electric Pokemon in that game. I know they're designed for double battles, but they're not really that great for that either. I mean, I think anything they designed for double battles just isn't as good as, say, 2 really good Pokemon, but hey, I'm not the greatest double battle, so maybe I don't know what I'm talking about. Number 3, Plusle and Minun. Number 2, baby Pokemon. And I know I'm fudging a bit by clumping them all together, but it's the same argument for all of them, so I'm going to put it in one category. And in this one, I'm mostly referring to Jigglypuff, Cleffa, and Pichu, the 3 ones that stick out in my mind from Generation 2. Basically, my argument against baby Pokemon is that instead of creating new Pokemon with those slots in the Pokedex, they said, we've got these species, let's make a pre-evolution of them that just plain sucks. And I know it promoted the breeding and all that crap, but it's just a hurdle to jump to get to your completed Pokedex. I mean, later on in the game series, like in Generation 4, they did it a little bit better. They'd have things like Budew, which revolves into Roselia early in the game, so I could pick that up while it's still useful and eventually evolve it into something that works better. In the earlier series, they did not do that. They're just like, here you go, it sucks, deal with it. God, I hate baby Pokemon. It's just a waste of space. But that's nothing compared to the number 1 most worthless Pokemon in the entire game series. And this is from Generation 1. This is a little controversial. Maybe this Pokemon will have fans out there. I kind of doubt it. I don't really see anybody using this or talking about this or, oh, I remember that Pokemon, it was so great. No. The number 1 worthless Pokemon, Goldeen. Hear me out. There are a ton of water Pokemon. There's a lot of interesting water Pokemon. There's Gyarados. There's Staryu and Starmie. There's Slowbro. There's Tentacruel. There's Cloyster. There's all sorts of water Pokemon from that first game. And then there's this guy, Goldeen. The plainest, most boring, just ho-hum water Pokemon you can get. It's a fish. It doesn't have a second type. The most interesting thing about it is it has a horn and can learn peck for some freaking reason. I don't think I've met anyone who's like, yeah, Seaking is awesome. Yeah. Nobody. It's just wasted potential. Someone asked me which Pokemon I hated most from or which was the worst Pokemon from the first generation, the one I disliked the most. I had to say Goldeen. It's just boring. It's just, again, a waste of space. Now, if you have an opinion on what the most worthless Pokemon is, go ahead and send it in the comment box, and maybe I'll berate you for your poor choices. Or maybe I'll just agree with you. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Stay tuned for more. We'll see you next time.